You are going to love this one. It's called How I Handle Haters. So as an author for so many years and shooting these kinds of videos and giving leadership presentations across the planet for over 23 years, once in a while I have someone who will throw a stone at me. And you as a creative person, as you bring your magic to the world, you will have people who misunderstand you, because every visionary is initially ridiculed before they are revered. And you will have naysayers and you will have cynics and critics, the critics, so that you can keep your momentum towards your mighty ambitions. So I've deconstructed the model. This comes from my own processing, my own journaling, because sometimes, it'll hurt me. I'm a human being. As a creative person, I can be sensitive. I want to do great things for as many people as possible. And so sometimes criticism stings. And so, as I so often do in my morning routine, I head to my journal and I process and I decode and I deconstruct. And so this model comes right out of my own journal. It's called the Troll Deconstruction. It has 6 elements, and let's get right into the first one. The first one is called the J.K. Rowling Principle. As you know, J.K. Rowling, one of the greatest authors on the planet, she's written the Harry Potter series, and I once read something she wrote that had a profound effect on me. And here's what she said. She said, "For some to love you, some must loathe you." And as I wrote about it in my journal and meditated on it, I realized what makes us human is we love different things. Some people like pomodoro pasta, other people like sushi, some people like steaks, some people like empanadas. We all like different things, and that's what makes us so interesting as human beings. And so as a creative person, as a leader, as a value distributor, just remember that for some to love you, some must loathe you. There's no way in the world you're going to put your magic out into the world and everyone's going to love that. And so part of the journey as a creative leader is to just get comfortable being criticized and to sort of bulletproof yourself and strengthen your own inner core through perhaps journaling, meditation, prayer, reading, working with a spiritual counselor, an emotional counselor. Do that inner work required so you become so strong in your own skin, nothing can take you off of your mission, and you take the stones your critics throw at you and you build them into monuments of creativity, productivity, possibility that inspire the rest of humanity. The second element of the Troll Deconstruction is called the Jay-Z Insight. So I'm a fan of Jay-Z, and I remember reading one of his biographies, and in it he said this. He said, "I knew I was getting traction in the culture, and I knew I was winning with my music when people started to come out of nowhere and hate all over me." And that insight is a relevant one for you as someone who's trying to produce your productivity. And maybe you're a coder, maybe you're a startup entrepreneur, maybe you're a manager in a company. No matter what it is that you do, you are an artist. Jay-Z is a musical artist. You might be an artist of coding, or you might be an artist of entrepreneurship. But just remember, you know you're winning when you start attracting haters. The third element of the Troll Deconstruction is simply this. Great poetry terrifies the herd. I want you to think about that one. Great poetry terrifies the herd. Now you're saying, Robin, what the heck does that one mean? Well, one of my favorite cities on the planet is Barcelona. And I remember one day I was walking through the Born district, I love getting lost in different cities. It's a great education to travel our tiny planet. So I was walking through the Born district and I was just looking around and being inspired by the architecture and looking at the people and just fully present in the moment. And I stumbled upon this amazing Picasso museum. So I walk in and I start looking at Picasso's art, and I'm a great fan of art. And I look at the art and I study the art and I make notes about the art and I'm provoked by the art. And towards the end of my visit through the Picasso Museum, I see this plaque on the wall, and here's what it said. People were disturbed by the genius of Picasso. And that insight has remained with me as an artist for so many years. Great poetry when you do anything disruptive, anything original, it's going to be laughed at. It's going to scare people. It's going to threaten people because the majority, the status quo, the herd, they are standing on the foundations of the truths they believe are true. And so anything that disrupts it, whether it's a new business, whether it's new art, whether it's a book that challenges people, it's much easier to shoot the messenger than to embrace the message. When the 5 a.m. Club first came out, it was such a disruptive book. The models like the 10 Rituals of Daily Genius and the Twin Cycles of Elite Performance, which actually suggests rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity. The whole 5 a.m. protocol that I teach in the book, the 20-20-20 formula, the whole idea of getting up before the sun so that you bulletproof your interior life based on the Spartan warrior saying, sweat more in training and you'll bleed less in war, was a scary thought to people who don't want to change. And so some of the early readers of the book went on to social media and started knocking down the book until something really interesting happened. Enough people read the 5 a.m. Club to sort of rewrite the whole perception. And I reached a critical mass where people started saying, here's the results I'm getting, here's how I feel, here's what it's doing for me productively, creatively, in my business, in my life, or even for my spirituality. And then the tide completely changed. The larger point for you is to simply remember, bring your magic and originality to the world, but when you do, just understand that it's going to terrify people. If you look at the great visionaries, Nikola Tesla, Shakespeare, Nelson Mandela, you look at some of the great musical artists, whether it was Madonna or Lady Gaga, or look at some of the great artists like Jean-Michel Basquiat or Rembrandt or Monet. These people were all misunderstood. I remember watching a movie. Willem Dafoe stars in it. And the movie's called The Gates of Eternity or something like that. And it's the story of Van Gogh's life. And did you know Van Gogh did not sell one painting while he was alive? And I remember one scene in particular in this film. Van Gogh was committed to an insane asylum. And the person who's running this insane asylum pulls Van Gogh out of the crowd and has a one-on-one conversation with him. And the person who's running the insane asylum has a bunch of Van Gogh's drawings. And he shows the drawings to Van Gogh. And he says, Vincent, do you really think this is art? And Van Gogh says, yes, I think it's art. And I think it's very beautiful. And the person who is running the insane asylum says, do you really think this is art? Because he thought it was garbage. And Van Gogh, because he was so invested in his truth, he said, yes, this is art. And interestingly enough, Van Gogh only became Van Gogh after he was dead. I mean, often great art only is revered decades after the artist has gone. Which brings me to the fourth element of the troll deconstruction. Advanced art is always misunderstood. So I am a fan of Jean-Michel Basquiat. I just love his graffiti-style art. I remember watching a documentary on Jean-Michel Basquiat, and one of the people who ran, I believe it was the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art in New York, she talked about the fact that initially they wouldn't allow Basquiat's art in the museum. And here's what he was told. His art is not good enough to be in our museum. And now if you look at Basquiat, his work sells, one of them sold for over $100 million. Think about Basquiat when you release your magic out into the world. You will be misunderstood. You will be attacked. You will be laughed at. You will be discounted. You must continue at all costs. Let me put it to you this way, if I may, and I want you to really think about this right now. I'm going to challenge you to think about this. I want your faith in your magic to be bigger than your fears, so that no matter what stones people throw at you, you will continue until the world understands the beauty that you're bringing to it. There's a Liam Gallagher song that says, high flying birds get the first arrows. Isn't that true? When you leave the crowd, the flock of birds, you're going to get knocked down quickly, but that's the price of ambition. Makes me also think of Bob Dylan, and I learned this from another documentary I watched, and he said, don't criticize what you don't understand. Don't criticize what you don't understand. So advanced art is always misunderstood before it's appreciated. Fifth element of the troll deconstruction, you might love this one. Happy people never hate. So the way we are in the world is a profound reflection of the way we are with ourselves. Our self-relationship sets up every other relationship. Our relationship with our family, our relationship with our team, our relationship with our customers, our relationship with our suppliers, our relationships with strangers on the street. I was doing a tour of someplace on the planet, a region on the planet, and I was in an elevator and I said hello to the person, where are you from? And he looked at me and he said, where are you from? And I thought maybe he misunderstood me, so I said, oh, I'm just curious, where are you from? And I said that because I love connecting with people. His aggression was pretty stunning to me, and he said, maybe you don't understand English. I'm asking you where you're from. And I just realized this is not a person who is interested in any form of engagement. And I just said to him, oh, I'm just trying to be friendly with you. And I left the elevator. And as I left the elevator, in another language, I think he was swearing at me for whatever reason. And that's okay, because people do the best that they can based on where they're at on the journey of their lifetime. And I'm not going to judge that person as bad. He's just doing the best that he can. The larger point for you and I is people behave the way they are in private. And every single thing you see someone doing is really a reflection of what's going on with them. And so people who hate on other people are just not in a very good place in their lives. Because if they were full of energy, if they were in hot pursuit of their mighty mission, if they had great family lives and they were in great health, and if they're pursuing their maximum creativity, productivity, and performance, they would be full of joy. And they would be spreading and radiating that possibility to every single person they meet. Sixth element of the troll deconstruction is high road focus. Take the high road. You know, I would suggest if anyone tries to knock you down, if people hate at you, if people give you these comments, or if people laugh at you when you share your big idea, focus on your mission. Why dilute your energy by wasting it on dealing with and feeding the trolls? And let karma do your dirty work. Let world class be your revenge. And I'm not saying we should be in the business of revenge, but just stay monomaniacally focused on your priorities. And over time, it's amazing what happens when you put great work and great value and magic and love and mastery out into the world. The tide will change. People will appreciate you. You will feel great about the service you bring to society. And what is more important than that? So I want to thank you so much for being here with me in this mastery session. I take so much time to handcraft them so that you receive great value and inspiration and encouragement and even love. If you'd like to go deeper with me and you've liked what you've learned in this episode, here's what you want to do. Number one, read my latest book, The 5 a.m. Club. I wrote it so it's a manifesto for your mastery. And it's currently one of the best-selling books in the world right now for a reason. It truly works. It truly helps you upgrade your creativity, your productivity, your performance, your prosperity, and your overall life. Now, of course, the book isn't going to work, and all the models I share in it, and the tactics, and all of the different letters, and all the different modules, none of that is going to work for someone who's not going to do any work. So only read the 5 a.m. Club if you're ready to transform and you're willing to do some work for your greatest life. Second thing, people for years have been asking me, Robin, would you do some kind of an online mentoring system to teach us all the things we learn in the mastery sessions and in all of your books? You know, we're not a billionaire, so we might not have the budget to have you one-on-one coach us, but is there some way we can receive some digital coaching that will help us upgrade our productivity, upgrade our creativity, optimize our 4 interior empires of mindset, heart set, health set, and soul set. Some kind of coaching that will help us grow our careers, lead our fields, dominate our domains, and also live a beautiful, soulful life that will fill us with happiness and joy at the end. And so the answer is yes. It's called the Circle of Legends, and it's one of the best things that I do. The Circle of Legends is my world-class mentoring program where I teach you the same information, the same models and frameworks and daily tactics that I teach to billionaires, the NBA stars, the titans of industry, the leaders in sciences and arts. You get to learn this advanced information that so few people learn in the Circle of Legends. If you're really ready to start playing at heroic right now and maximize your performance and optimize the way you live out the rest of your life, so you not only live a beautiful life, but you make your mark on the world, then I'd love to help you. Thanks so much.